Is that better? Okay, I can see my levels now. Sorry. Been yabbering to myself this whole time and you guys haven't been hearing me. Yeah, I had the mute button on. I always mute myself at work or when I'm working, so I left the mute on. I apologize. I've been yabbering this whole time. Okay, so let's go over all the stuff that I said to myself that no one else was able to hear. Um, this is a minnow fly. And it was originally tied by Ken McLeod in the Seattle area in 1939. So this is a rather simple fly. It's very similar to an egg and eye, except it's the next stage in the minnow's life cycle. So the egg and eye represents the elven. This would represent the actual small minnow, and these are really good for fishing in the spring. He originally tied them for sea run cutthroat when they were feeding on the downstream pink and dog salmon that come down the rivers and stuff in the spring. So yeah, it's very similar to the egg and eye pattern, except it is meant to represent the later version of the fly. I did mess up here actually. I forgot to tie in the. You don't need to do this, but if you're production tying or in a hurry, you can definitely do this without a thread base. But I am going to put a thread base in because I also want to put a little bit of head cement lacquer on that. And the thread base will give us something to put the head cement lacquer on. So yeah. On the next one, we'll actually do the correct, well, there's not like a correct method, but the way I would tie these if I was tying a bunch of them. I don't want to go too far, and I don't want to leave too much of a thread bump here, but between, I'm just gonna get my glasses actually. I left a few little holes in there, but we're gonna cover them on the way back. Like I said, not worried about this being perfect. We just want a little bit of a thread base that the glue can stick to better. Okay, well that's better. It's amazing, putting on glasses you can see things better. Who knew? Okay, so we want this to land. That's a couple wraps too far. Right between the point and the barb there. Because we're going to be tying in here for our overwing. Well, it's basically an overwing, but the top cap and what's going to be the tail. There are a few modifications that I would actually make to this if it was my own pattern. And one of those is similar to the egg and eye modifications that I made for myself, is I would tie in a few fronds of peacock herl as the tail right at this point before I actually wrapped it with the mylar, just so it has a little bit more of a bushier tail to it, because otherwise it just kind of looks a little more like a stick. And at this point the minnows have a pretty substantial, there it is, sorry, I lost my tinsel for a second there. The minnows have a pretty substantial tail section, so that's what I would do. Maybe we'll do that on the second one, compare the two and see how it looks. In either case, we got that in there now, so I'm going to tie this mylar. And this is just like a large mylar. You can use a medium, really whatever you got kicking around. You're just going to have to make more wraps. You would think that the thicker, wider mylar like this is easier to tie in, but to be honest, sometimes it can actually be harder, because it's not as flexible and it likes to kink more. So if you're finding that, if you're starting off with like a thicker mylar, because in your head you're like, well, it's wider, it's going to cover more hook and it's going to be a little more stable. And in reality, it's kind of the opposite, because it'll amplify any of the little mistakes you make and show them through as those little kinks that pop out. So sometimes if you have a thinner, really? Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you got some quilting stuff too. You don't actually see, like, I always look for fly tying books. I find a lot of my other interests in books more than I find fishing and fly tying, to be honest, even though we got a huge amount in this area. Um, yeah, fly tying books, although they were really, really common in like the 90s and 80s and 70s, especially in the 70s because there wasn't internet really then. Um, and I do enjoy my older 70s fly tying books. You don't see them in the thrift stores, at least around here, as much as you used to. But I actually just watched an episode of, if anyone here watches LGR or Lazy Game Reviews on YouTube, he's got, I think, millions of subscribers at this point. But I've been watching him for years when he just started. He finally put out his next thrifting video this morning after 2 years of not doing any thrifting videos. So what am I doing? Hold on. Hold tight. Nimby's messing up left and right here. Getting distracted by thrifting talk. Alright. I'm just gonna do a quick doc. That name does ring a bell. I'm not sure why though. I maybe have that book, possibly. Canadian author, hey? I feel like I should know that. Is it like a, what's the title on it? That might actually ring more of a bell for me. If you don't mind. So we're just gonna wrap our mylar all the way down. Oop. Got just a hair of a kink there. Let's try and get rid of that. There we go. So you can do this on the bare shank. There's no rule like you're gonna be snapped down by the fly tying gods if you do this on a bare shank, but it will slide more, and if you glue it to a bare shank, the glue will also not hold nearly as well. So I did jump off that. Let me back that up. Kind of meant to, but I want to do it on this wrap. So these wraps here, we're going to go just a hair farther. I'm going to do these by hand just so I don't muck them up. We're going just a hair farther than the barb, and then back. Just doing these by hand, those two wraps, just so I don't hit the hook point. And now we're going to go back. Try and cover that mistake we made right there, and we did. Success. There, that actually worked out pretty well. Happy with that. Oh, and right when I say that, I mucked up. Actually, looks like I might have, yeah, I must have hit the eye, or there's a defect in the, I don't know if I can do anything about that. There's a little defect in the tinsel. I try and overwrap it with a couple wraps here. Just, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's much I can do about that. Oh well. It's gonna get covered up right there anyway, so I'm not too worried. It's just always nice when it does lay perfectly flat. Teller's Basic Fly Tying, a practical all-color guide. I don't know if I have that one. I have quite the substantial, as you can tell by the posts I throw up. I try to share as much as I can from those books, and I'm going to continue to this year. Trying to throw out one a day kind of thing, but it's kind of hard to get. It actually takes a fair bit of work to dig them out, take the pictures, edit the pictures, make them fit in the post format, which is a weird format because it's 4x3, not 16 by 9. But sorry, in any case, getting off track there. I'm just gonna try and bury this end in. I don't think I have that book. I will see, Teller's Basic Fly Tying. Huh. Okay, I will look that up and see. That's interesting. I wonder what part of, he might have been East Coast, maybe that's why I haven't heard of him. But, you know, Nimby can't know every fly tire that's ever written a book, I suppose. That's cool, though. Thank you for introducing me to a new tire. So we got this guy here, just happens to have 9 fronds on it. He calls for 8 fronds, so we're going, or 10 fronds. So we're going to be rebels, and we're going to use 9, and have this fly lacking 1 frond, just because I got 9 on here, so why not? I think 10 is honestly a little bit excessive. But this is from a peacock eye. 96, really? Now that really sounds like something I should know. I'm gonna have to look up the. Here, give me a second. Let me look up that. That sounds like something I should know. Give me a sec here. I'm just gonna pop up a web browser and see if I can Google that. You've intrigued my curiosity. EUR. Sorry, I'll be right with you. Does it have a picture of like a red-throated salmon fly with a badger hackle going across the back? For beginners and intermediate, I think that's the one. Red and black front. Interesting. I have never seen that book. That is cool. Well, apparently you can still get it on Amazon. They have it on stock. Huh, apparently it was a sequel to an earlier book that he wrote. Huh. Well, that's really cool, mate. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to spend some time looking that up if I get time tonight. I have never seen that book. It looks like a decent book, and being all color, that's, you know, handy as well. I feel like I should know this author, you know, especially being that he's Canadian. Figure I would have ran into his stuff at some point, but the world is a wide and broad place. Okay, so let's get back to this. It's a pretty simple fly. Really, that's really cool. That's a cool find for a thrift store. And being that it's Canadian, link too, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna grab these guys. And try and keep them somewhat together. Yeah. I strip the whole thing. That's fine. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna cut that end off anyway. Come on now. Get in there. You want to become part of a fly, don't you? Come on, buddy. I dropped one. Hold tight. I'm running out of thumb. I'm gonna have to get these sorted on my desk here. Now, if we're lucky, we'll have enough of these for 2 flies. Although peacock eyes are a little bit more, well, for lack of a better, I won't say they're hard to find, but they're definitely a little bit harder to come by than just the regular peacock herl. But if you're looking for peacock eyes, thank you, Robert. Appreciate that, mate. But if you're looking for good peacock eyes inexpensively, a lot of craft stores actually have really decent peacock eyes. And there's a lot you can do with the quills on the eyes. They're a little different than the quills on the body. Yeah, I should be able to get 2 flies out of this, I think. Okay, so we got it there. We're going to have to cut these ends off because they're going to be very brittle. We're going to use some peacock quill here as well. So just cut those ends off. We're going to bind this right in up top here. And I'm just going to do a soft wrap to kind of hold it on top a little bit. There we go. And the major thing is we want to keep that right on top or it's going to look funny. And I'm going to bind that right down towards the eye. So it is definitely not going anywhere. Okay, there we go. So we got 2 ways we can go about this next part. Is we can tie our, you can use the same. There's nothing saying you can't use black thread back here. I'm just going to be using some dark olive to tie in the back portion. I just wanted to see if it looks a little better than the black. Traditionally, he would have just used black thread for the whole thing. I'm going to switch up to olive. I think it might just give it a little bit less of a breakup. You can also use a hot spot like I do with the egg and eyes. I use red back there. So yeah, if you want to do like a hot orange or red or yellow or something that stands out a bit, you're more than welcome to. It was like a little thin and broken. I'm just going to cut a little bit more off. There we go. So, I'm going to tie that up here. And we're just going to wrap a peacock herl head. And we're going to stop it right here so we still have room for an actual head. Let's not get our herl mixed up with our with the other peacock that we got going on back here, which I just did. So hold on, let's get that fixed. Ugh, you all look the same. Come on now. Okay, these are the ones I just tied in, which are just regular herl. The difference between this and the ones that come on the eye is the ones on the eye are much flatter, wider. They almost have like a plasticky ribbon quality to them. And they act completely different in the water. Where your regular peacock herl is on a strand, it's very smooth. I'm actually going to bring my thread back up here and let that push my thread forward. So we got a nice bulbous head. I have 2 strands here. I probably could have went with 3 or 4 to be honest. Depending on how big of a head you want up front. Come on, buddy. Stay together. You can twist there's a number of methods you can do for this. You can twist them so they stay together a little better. You can have a piece of thread in there and use it as a cord that makes it way stronger. You can do like I'm doing and just wrap them together, which will generally give you the poofiest head like that. If you allow them just to sit up and down almost like a hackle, you'll get the poofier head that way. It'll be less durable. I'm not super worried about durability on this fly because the way this is tied, it's going to be trashed fairly quickly. You're probably gonna get only a few fish out of this. Okay, so we got that head in. Like I was saying, if you wanted to, you could have half hitched your thread there, come back and done the back part first, and then come back and did the head after. I'm just gonna get the whole front done, and then we'll move on to the back since we're going to be tying our thread in at that point. Just gonna make a little head here. On most of these, like with the Agonize, I like to have a fairly substantial little black head because they typically have, at this point in their life cycle, kind of like a little black snout. And they're still like a little transparent, like their body isn't fully formed yet. And the darkest coloration and like their skull and everything is more formed up front, so you typically get a little darker formation up front. So I like to have a little bit of a, not quite bulbous, but like a kind of flattened football, I suppose. Just like that. That'll do good. That gives me a little bit of room to put some head cement on. Throw in some half hitches here. Hey, good to have you in, Trip. I'm going to take this moment to give Trip some kudos. I've been checking your shorts and all the stuff you've been tying out there, mate, and I just want to say, like, I am impressed. You're extremely skilled for your age, man. Your videos are coming out really good. There's definitely room for improvement being that you're new, but considering where you are and where you started, you're doing really good, mate. I'm really enjoying your content. You need to keep up on it. I'm really excited to see like where you're gonna be in like a year from now. Your tie-in is very skilled for your age. Honestly, you're probably leaps and bounds ahead of where I was at 12. Okay, so the one annoying part here, I'm just going to use some hackle pliers just for a second to get this thread started. If I can find my hackle pliers. Where'd you go, buddy? There. I just want to use some with some smooth, soft jaws so I don't muck up the body. This isn't necessary if you're more coordinated than I am. You can do this without the hackle pliers, and these are just going to hold this back for me for a second while I tie in my thread. There we go. Okay, and like I said, we're switching over. I'm going to switch over to this, what is this, dark olive? Olive done. Basically just green thread. And I'm going to move my bobbin holder because it's in my way. I'm just going to start this like I was saying, right between, come on buddy, right between the point and the barb. But yeah, Trip, I'm super impressed with your stuff. Not to get all fanboy mushy on you or anything, but I just wanted to give you some kudos because you are doing really well. I'm glad you got your 50 subs in there. And I honestly think if you keep it up, you're gonna do some amazing stuff in the next year. Just don't burn out, eh? That's what most happens to most people. Just keep it at a pace that you're happy with. Remember, we're doing all this stuff for fun, right? But yeah, if you're in the chat here or you're watching and you haven't subscribed to Trip, I highly suggest you do. I think he's gonna be a really influential tyer in the next year or two here. Alright, so we got that in there. I'm just going to put just a whiff of head cement on there. It's not only going to hold the line together, but it's also going to help to hold the peacock down just a little bit. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit. And you could use super glue here, but using super glue, it's going to generally wash out a bit and give you a bit of a white look to that part of the butt. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, it didn't damage the body. So yeah, like I said, you could do this whole part I'm doing now first and then do the head up if it's easier for you. I generally like to get the head done so that way I'm working on that end of the fly and I'm not knocking the tail all over the place or vice versa. But really, it don't matter. And yeah, it looks like I'll get 2 flies out of this. Not quite 3, I don't think, but at least 2. I want to sit this right on top. Try and keep my fingers out of the head cement, but what we want to do is we want to do a soft wrap. Didn't quite land that where I wanted to. I'll try that again. There we go. And I want to work back towards that point, and then back again towards the barb. Oh, his Etsy store? Yeah, I know he's been kind of struggling with the whole Etsy store thing. I did one up too, and I posted a few things and didn't get any traction. I didn't, honestly, it's more my fault. I didn't put the effort in at the time. But yeah, I feel for him. It's a lot of effort for the amount that you get back from it, is basically what I'll say about it. Because by the time you pay all of the Etsy fees and all that stuff, you know, you're just paying for your almost enough just to keep the site up. You know, once you pay all the stuff, I'll find. I'm pretty confident I'll find a good working balance here, but I fully understand his frustrations with it. I know he's been kind of struggling to decide to keep it open or not for a bit now. I want to try the same thing but with Shopify and see if that works a little better for me, but we'll cross that bridge this year. Okay, so I'm going to throw 3 half hitches in there, just because 3 is better than 2, and this whole thing is relying on those half hitches to hold it together. And then we'll do a little dab of head cement after. We're pretty close to being done here. There we go. Yeah, and Villigrim's went pretty good at it, pretty hardcore at it. He's an awesome guy. I really enjoy him. Okay, so we want to cut this tail stubby, but not like too stubby. So we want to have probably like the width of my scissors back. So we'll say like right here. Try and cut it all in one go. There we go. So it's basically just imitating a small rear fin. And that's it. It's a really simple little pattern, but I mean, when these little minnows are a little bit of glue bulged out of there. There we go. Sorry. Just a little extra head cement must have gooped out. But yeah, that is a little Minnow Fly. But yeah, when these things are coming down the river and the fish are keying in on these, I know it doesn't look like much. Same with the egg and eye, it doesn't look like much, but they get absolutely hammered when it's the right time of year and these things are going down, or even like on the tail end or shoulders of the other. The fish are keyed to, you know, that this is a good forage for them, right? They wait for that time of year. Cannibalistic little dudes. But that's part of nature. So we're gonna put a head cement on this. I'm gonna put just a little bit of Sally Hansen's, probably just more on the top than the bottom. You just want to be careful not to get it in your peacock prawn there. There we go. Give that a second to set. But yeah, Trip, I'm really impressed with your stuff, mate. Yeah, I mean they're tiny little things. Like this is, can I get at my egg and eyes without knocking everything left and right? Hold a second here. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Right with you. Oop, and I knocked it over. I got way too many corks here. I gotta get rid of these things. Alright. So here's your egg and eye. You can see they're on the same size, but this is the first version of it. And they're very, like, in reality, they're very translucent. But you can see they have that red egg sac, and they're more silver. And yeah, in reality, that's why the little hoop there really helps, because they are very transparent. And then they start to darken up, and their organs and everything start forming, and they have an actual decent little tail on them at that point, and a darker head, like I said. But they don't change in size a whole lot. Like you figure they would, you know, grow as a minnow, but they don't do that until they almost get down more downstream into either a large lake, because some of them will not, I want to say overwinter, but that's the wrong term. Some of them will stay in a large lake. Like we have several large lakes here, like the Okanagan or Shuswap or Kamloops Lake, you know, that are several hundred meters deep, and they'll stay in those, and they'll get big, and a lot of them will become like kokanee and decide to stay, and some of them will finish their procedure and go down to the river, or down the Fraser and into the ocean. But yeah, at this point they're just little toots like this, little tiny minnows. They don't really change a whole lot in size from the elven stage to the minnow stage. They just darken up, and their organs and stuff start to function once their egg sac is absorbed. And just like a egg sac in a chicken egg, then they start producing all their organs and able to actually eat small little invertebrates and stuff floating down the creek. Yeah, that's what this would represent there. So we're going to do our spin and spiel. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit of Sally Hansen's first here. Sorry, getting distracted. Oh, got to change this music, though. I really got to take this one out of my thing. The kazoo thing just drives me. I don't know why I have it in there. Probably because I just listened to the first part when I added it, not the kazoo. Yeah, that's the thing you really want in the morning is some kazoo music to wake you up, right? And with any minnow pattern, I always like to have a little bit of shine on the head. I just think it looks good. Adds a little durability. But yeah, anything with this much peacock on it, like you're gonna maybe get, if you're lucky, 3 or 4 fish out of this before they just obliterate that top bit. Because they're predators and they're trying to eat this thing, so they're gonna bite it. Sorry, Robert. Here, let me spawn you a few more stars. There you go. Let's increase your odds. So yeah, let's Minnow Fly. Okay, I'm just gonna turn my volume down here and do my spin and spiel. Howdy all, this is a Minnow Fly in the vise, tied on a size 6 long shank Aberdeen hook. It has a silver tinsel body, peacock herl head, and 9 to 10 strands of peacock eye tied back across the back. It has the back section and also cut fairly short to create a small little tail. This creates a nice little minnow. This was originally tied by Ken McLeod from the Seattle area in 1939 for spring run cutthroat. They would float down the creeks and rivers, and then the pink and dog salmon fry would float down, and the trout and sea run cutthroat and brook trout and everything would feed on them. It was very similar to an egg and eye pattern, just the stage up from the Alvin up to a small minnow as they make their way down the streams back to the ocean. Extremely effective pattern, although it looks extremely simple and small. It's very effective at the time of year when these are heading back to the ocean. The fish and trout will gorge themselves on these little protein nuggets. Yeah, add a few of these to your box. Fun little tie. Really simple and effective pattern if you're fishing anywhere on the west coast where the fry are making their way to the ocean. And Muddy got one too. There we go. Okay, I was gonna actually tie one more of these. I might actually save that for tomorrow. Because I'm running short on time here. Let's see, what do I got? Let's try. Let's go for it. I got a little bit less than 20 minutes, but let's see if we can pound one of these out. So less talky, more tie. Do I got a space for you, little booger? Let's put you. Let's see. I got more room on this guy. Yeah, let's add this here. Alright, that'll work for now. Hey, let's whip one of these guys out. Just need to get my day going, start work at 10 o'clock here, so I've only got a bit of time. I gotta go feed all the animals and get a fire going. All that fun stuff. Get my day started. I was a little bit late jumping on here. Honestly, I was just a little burnt out from work yesterday and slept in. Nothing wrong with getting the sleep you need, that's for sure. And judging by the quiet house, everyone else is still sleeping, so nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I'm gonna make a thread base all the way back this time. And leave my thread there to help with that. Again, we're gonna go quick and dirty with this one. Back that up. Yeah, I didn't hear a Trip reply there, but hopefully he heard my yabberings. I should have varnished that before I put the glue on, but quick and dirty. Quick and dirty! This is a Minnow Fly. Hey, thanks, Trudge. I don't know why my thing doesn't pick up the donation and the super chats and stuff. I don't hear it in my headset like I should. I apologize if I don't get to it right away. Hey, Ethan Lures, good to have you in, mate. Thanks, Trudge. I appreciate that, man. That's a cool little controller. I quite like him. Thanks, man. I know you work hard for your bones, and the fact that you want to share some with me to keep this all moving forward is really honestly does mean a lot to me, and it does help. Actually, I'm gonna let that go for a second. We'll get a half hitch on this and then get that up in the bobbin holder. Try and not rush myself too much. But, there we go. Yeah, thanks, Rob. I appreciate that, mate. I really do. Okay, so we're gonna go down. I'm not gonna worry too much about any pop-outs because I'm gonna try and grab those on the way up. Just being mindful of that super sharp hook point. These ones are ridiculously sharp, to be honest. Oh, just nailed it. Thank you, Robert. Don't take this the wrong way. It is honestly just a big compliment as far as what I'm meaning it to be, but you're really taken after Stardusted, and Stardusted is awesome. And I really appreciate your... Oh, come on, man. Sorry, I'm trying to get this flat. I really appreciate the effort you put in, not just with my channel, but with the community. Because I know you help out many other channels, and like I said, you're taken after Dusted style and everything, and I thoroughly appreciate that. Okay, so we got that tied in. Okay, so we need a little bit of a flat base here to tie in that hurl. That should do. Thankfully, these are already cut for me. So that makes life a little easier. Yeah, I'm just gonna trip on one more time. Yeah. And I thoroughly appreciate having you on board, because hey, if I can help you with any of this stuff, it really helps makes my heart sing, you know? And I don't have any doubts that you're going to go far with this and be able to help a lot of other people as well. There you go. Well, I'm glad if I can help anyone. That's really what I'm here for, to be honest, you know. The donations and everything are awesome, and they help keep me going, because none of this is free, unfortunately. But all that being said, I'm here to help people and teach them and just hang out, have a good time, enjoy a really awesome hobby with some mates. And that motivates me to keep getting up every morning and turning the camera on. Because as enjoyable as this is, there's always mornings where you're like, oh, I just want to sleep in today or whatever. You know, not feeling well. But having you guys on the other side of the lens, on the other side of the screen, really makes this not just an enjoyable hobby, but one that I look forward to getting up to every morning and seeing you guys and saying hello and finding out about your little adventures, like Rob's thrifting, or you know, Maddie's snow plowing, or kids adventures, or you know, whatever's. Am I mucking that up more than I'm fixing it? Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah, hold tight. I wanted to fill that end in, but it doesn't look like it's going to fill anymore, so we're going to have to just cut that off. Make do with what we got. Doesn't look bad, at least from my side. Hopefully it looks okay from your side. Yeah, it looks okay. That's always the weird part of doing this too, is like I'm looking on the opposite side of the fly, and sometimes it'll look wonderful on my side or your side, but not the other, and I'll flip it around and be like, ugh, ugh. Hey, I like Thailand. Good to have you in from Thailand. Thoroughly appreciate that. Oh, it's K-Fish. Holy cow, man. Hey, man. How's it going? You made it safe. That's awesome. How's Thailand treating you? Geez, it must be like, what, nighttime there? It must be like middle of the night. Or late, anyway. Thanks for stopping in, K-Fish. I'm glad you and your girl made it there safe. Yeah, hopefully you get a little bit of video while you're there, even if it's not necessarily fishing related. 'Cause that's a cool trip. But I know you're there to focus on other stuff. But you know, we can be greedy and want more content, right? I'm allowed to be greedy. I want more K-Fish. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's gonna be an editing nightmare probably. Sorting through all that. Just like your Hawaii trip, right? But it's cool because you can use that for like shorts and all sorts of stuff for later, right? Well, thanks for dropping in, man. I was wondering about you last night, actually, how things were going. Just because I used to work in an airport, so I know all the downsides of... Really cool. Yeah, everything's going to be so different there too, right? Yeah, thanks for saying hi, mate. It means a lot. Appreciate that. Especially, you know, like I said, I know the time difference is like ridiculous there, so. This is like the late fly tying stream, but like, it's morning. I'm just whipping this guy off here because I'm running out of time, so we're getting her done. Oh, I need to put a little bit of head cement on that first. I really should. Okay. You can skip this step, but I have had these fail with the egg and ice somewhat. Not frequently, I won't say, but like, it is a common fail point if you don't put a little glue there. 12 Yeah. Alright, good night, man, or good morning, I guess, in a few minutes. You have a good trip, man. Be safe. 12 at night. Ya booger. Okay, so we're gonna wrap back toward the tail here and just bind that in. You don't need a whole lot of wraps, but you want to get at least 5 to 6, so you have a little band there. If you make it too thin, you can cut the hurl. So you want it to be somewhat thick, so it's putting the pressure across multiple strands. You have the kind of tendency to want to make it thinner so it doesn't show up as much. Another reason I'm using the green. Actually, I like the green. I was gonna go with black. Yeah, I love my puns. Thank you for that. I wish I had thought of that. You know what? I got enough on here. I bet I could get 3 flies out of that. That's impressive. The third one might be a little on the shorter side, but looks like I might actually be able to get 3 flies out of that. I might try and tie another one later if I got time. Okay, so we're gonna pull that back. Use our gauge like we did last time for the width of my scissors. Pop it. Yeah, that's pretty close to where I want it right there. There you go. Did I make a pun and not even realize I made a pun? Wow, that's punny. I did it again. Okay, let's throw a little head cement on this before I go nuts. I need to drink my tea, man. It's been sitting there getting cold this whole time. I have 2 flies done, hardly touched it, so. Yeah, so. Get caught on that hook point. Yeah, fairly important step that you put some kind of glue on that back there. Doesn't have to be a lot of crazy glue, or it can be crazy glue, but it doesn't have to be a crazy amount of glue is what I meant to say. Just a little bit, because it'll soak into the fibers. But yeah, for the first long time I was tying these because they were really common for me to fish in the Thompson River. I didn't glue that point, and I had many of them come undone. And it wasn't my tying style or my knots or anything, it just takes a beating. And that there's not enough tension, there's not enough material there to apply opposite tension to keep the knot tight. There we go, that's good enough. Okay, I don't think we really need a spin and spiel, but I like the way this one looks. It's, I do try, and I tried on the last one, I just tried and failed, but I do like that hump. So to get that, you want to just release your tension on the hurl just a hair before you tying it in. I tried, but it didn't get as tight, or it was too tight on the last one. But I do like to have that little bulbous back there. They don't have much for like a dorsal fin at that point. It's mainly just a substantial little tail. They obviously have a dorsal fin, but it's not really formed yet. They're very clear. I'll try and get some pictures for you guys at some point. Maybe put them up on the community page. It might not be a bad idea. We've been talking about these for a good while yet. See if I can get rid of that one lump there. But yeah, for a quick tie, quick and dirty, I'm happy with that. That's really good, actually. Okay, so let's do spin and spiel here. And today in the vise we have a Minnow Fly tied on a size 6 long shank Aberdeen hook. It has a silver mylar body tied up with a peacock herl head, 9 to 10 strands of peacock eye tied back across the back, and made into a nice little fin in the back, cut fairly short so it poofs out. And just using black uni thread in size 6 and green uni thread for tying in the tail base there. Wonderful little pattern. It was originally tied by Ken McLeod from the Seattle area in 1939 for spring run cutthroat and sea run cutthroat. It was also really effective for brook trout, and I do use this in this area when the minnows come down after they become elvins. It's basically the stage after the egg and eye or the elvin stage of the fry as they make their way back down to the river. So if you're closer to the ocean, or down the rivers to the ocean, if you're closer to the ocean, this may be a better pattern for you than the elvin pattern, which it would be coming down from the spawning beds. This was originally tied to imitate pink dog salmon coming down from the rivers in the Seattle, Washington area, but it would work all the way up and down the west coast. Wonderful little pattern. You really should have a couple of these in your box, even though they're simple. When these are coming down, the trout will just massacre them. Add a couple to your box, eh? Hey, Shark just came in. I'm just finishing up here. I gotta get ready for the day. It's 9 in the morning, so I'd start working in less than an hour here. But yeah, we did up some minnow flies. Good to see you, Glacier Shark. Good to see you, Doug. There, yeah, we might even hit 1,000. I don't know if we're at 1,000 yet. I'll have to check. We were one sub off yesterday, and then I had a few bot subs get taken out. Let's see if we might have hit 1,000 here or not. No, looks like we dropped a few. I'm at 996, so we lost a few subs. Oh well, is what it is. We'll get there. Yeah, I know. Everyone seems to jump in close enough. It's all good though. I'd rather say hi to you guys than not. But I do need to go so I can get my day rolling and get the kids made some breakfast and feed all the animals before I start work here. And get a fire going. It's kind of cold out today. But there's the other one that we tied this morning. So these are a Minnow Fly. And it's basically the stage after the elvin as the fish go down the creek or the river to the ocean. Here's the elvin stage, which is the egg and eye. As I'm dropping my flies everywhere. So here's the egg and eye elvin stage where they still have the red egg sac. But both of these are great for fall and spring fishing when they come down the creeks. Stay. My flies don't want to stay up. There we go. I really need to get. I'm running out of space for tide flies. Need to give away or sell something. We're gonna have a bunch of giveaways that are coming up. Okay. So thanks all. Appreciate you all stopping in. Good to see you, Shark. Good to see you, Doug. And who else popped in? I have one more person. Other Ethan's lures popped in as well. I think that's all. Hey, Val. Man, everyone's showing up right when I'm closing up. Sorry, Valhalla, man. We're just closing up today, but I was just checking out your shorts on that last night. Yeah, I was seeing the one that you did with the new little forge that you've been doing up there. Either way, I gotta wrap her up, guys. I apologize for cutting everyone off short there, but gotta get my day rolling. See you guys.